everybody. This is Justin.
And Riley.
Today we're going to be talking about Doctor Sleep. So, our previous videos, we have already kind of established that we love The Shining. Like, it's probably my favorite Kubrick film of all time.
Yes, I love it.
And going into this movie, I kind of tried to keep my expectations in check a little bit because I knew that somehow in the back of my mind, I knew it wasn't gonna live up to The Shining. Like I knew it wasn't gonna be as good as that. But you know what? And I don't know if Riley will agree with me on this. I think that this was probably the most worthy sequel to Stanley Kubrick's movie we could have possibly gotten. Like it's as
No,
good.
I do not agree.
Well, what I'm saying is like I think it's as good as it could have been. Like I don't think that you could have ever lived up to The Shining. You know, like I don't think you could have ever been as good as it or better.
I
Definitely.
agree, but I think this movie was more of a sequel to the book, and Kubrick's film didn't really line up with The Shining that much, and the feeling didn't line up with the book. But this movie kind of lined up with the feeling of the book instead of the feeling of Kubrick's movie, and I was hoping that it would line up with Kubrick's movie. It was a sequel to the movie, definitely, but it had a different feeling than the movie had.
Definitely, I definitely agree with it, but for some reason the different wasn't bad to me. Like I'll tell you the worst part of this movie for me. The worst part of the movie was the villains.
Yeah, I didn't like Rebecca Ferguson's part in the movie.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. I will
I don't
fully
even know
admit
why
that.
they would cast her. I don't like her acting in that movie, and I don't like her character.
Yeah, and I don't know if I need to be attributing that to how she was written in the movie, or maybe the character in the book sucks too. I have no idea
Yeah,
because from understanding, this does lean a bit more towards Stephen King's novel Doctor Sleep more than
yeah.
it is like the director said it's meant to be within the same continuity as Kubrick's film, but it borrows more heavily from Stephen King side of things, I believe.
I felt like I was watching a guy's version of Twilight.
I can kind of see where you're coming from on that a little bit.
I mean,
Definitely.
The Shining was psychological, and it barely even had any horror from The Shine. And then this movie just whips out The Shine out of nowhere and has no psychological involvement in the movie except being drunk and having past memories.
Well, this movie definitely dived more into the kind of fantastical or magical aspect of The Shining. Like, I feel like
Yeah, I agree.
in Kubrick's film, it felt a bit more grounded. Like, you never really saw, uh, okay, no, I can't. I don't say you never really see anything supernatural, but more thinking, no, you definitely see supernatural things happen in the first movie. But
Yeah,
I mean, like in this movie, it didn't quite feel like that's definitely not how Kubrick would have done it, if that makes sense. And again, Kubrick didn't make this movie, so I guess we can't really expect it to be like Kubrick's movie because it's by a different director. And
yeah, I
uh,
agree.
I think
It, Go on.
I think the director kind of put his own interpretation on things, like kind of like how Kubrick would have approached it. It's just the director has this director's different from Kubrick, so you're obviously gonna get something very different. I hope I made sense saying that.
No, I mean, you totally did, and I think I just had the wrong expectations going into the movie, and that's why I didn't like it.
And that's very understandable. And who knows? Maybe with a second viewing, you might like it a little more. So
Yeah,
the last 30 minutes of this movie so felt
perfect.
it felt
Well,
like
it's not really perfect. Sorry, it just felt like The Shining. Yeah,
my only issue with it was exciting for sure. Like it was great to see the spoilers. Sorry, guys. It was nice to see the Overlook Hotel again. To see them kind of recreate a lot of the same shot angles, and like it's like whenever Ewan McGregor's peeking through the hole, kind of like the door where the axe went through it. and it's like similar to The Shining, where he's like, "Here's Johnny," you know the shot I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then like the scene whenever the villain character, whenever they're going up the stairs, and it's kind of similar to whenever Jack
Hmm.
Torrance was going after the wife with the axe up the stairs. So it definitely kind of felt like they were leaning a bit more towards fan service than I would have liked. It's nice to see the Overlook Hotel again, but I think they did go a little too ham on the fan service a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that because I hated the plot, and I completely disregarded the whole entire plot. So that's the only thing I was looking forward to, the whole entire movie and the ending.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from. There was a point in time where I almost checked out a little bit too, so I understand. I thought the movie was entertaining enough that I stayed engaged the entire time, and I think
I
most,
no, I definitely stayed engaged the whole entire time.
yeah. Well, I think what really kind of anchored this movie and what really kind of made it not terrible was I liked the dynamic between Ewan McGregor's older version of Danny and the younger girl, the daughter that also has the shining
Yeah,
ability.
uh, and in my opinion, they were the two best actors in the movie,
Yeah,
and they had a great
a great what?
connection.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really kind of was the heart of the movie in
Like
my
this
opinion.
video.
Yeah, yeah. But I just have to say though, the actors that they brought back to play like the younger version of Danny and the younger and like characters we had seen previously in the first movie, spot on, amazing job.
Yes. Um, I loved it, and I even thought that Danny, whenever he was riding the bicycle, was from The Shining.
Yeah, I thought it was footage from the first movie at first, and then the actor turned around and I saw his face, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's a different actor for sure, but it's very very close resemblance, and even like
Yeah.
the twins at the hallway, I thought that they looked great too, like they were spot on,
Yeah, they
spot on.
sounded great.
Yeah, even
Now,
the that one character that works in the kitchen, I forget his name, but the one the,
yeah, I forgot his name. Oh, the one who first connected with Danny.
Yeah, he did a pretty great job too. Like he was spot on too. So, what were you gonna say though?
Um, the mom, I think she was a bit try hard, and I don't think it really. I don't know. I don't know if she was just doing a bad job or if I just like the old mom's performance really good, because the old mom had a lot of emotional stuff with her in her character because of what her husband was doing. So, I mean, I don't really know if I don't like this new mom's acting or if I just don't like her connection.
I think I think the performance was a little off. I agree with that. Uh, the only time I thought it was spot on was whenever they showed the flashback of the axe going through the door. The look on her
Yeah.
face and all that looked fine. That was fine. It's whenever she started speaking, and I know that sounds kind of wrong, but I mean like it sounded like she was trying extremely hard, like you said, to mimic the other actress's performance,
Yeah.
and it just
Mhm.
felt forced. It didn't feel quite right. But
Yeah, definitely.
everyone else did a fantastic job. Child Danny, spot on, like he was perfect. But yeah. Fun fact
Well,
about the original Shining, by the way, the actor that played as
it's
Danny,
great.
yeah, the actor that played as Danny in the original Shining, he didn't see the actual cut of the movie. He saw an edited version without all the scary stuff. Because
Oh, really?
Stanley Kubrick knew that he was young and he didn't want him to see all the horrific stuff. So for and
Heck,
not
nowadays any kid could watch that movie.
yeah, is that crazy? He didn't actually see the actual version of The Shining until his
Yeah.
parents thought that he was old enough to see it.
Dang.
Crazy stuff.
Yep.
But anyway, we're talking about
Um.
Doctor Sleep.
So what do you rate this movie overall?
Probably a 3 out of 5, or I guess if we're talking out of 10, maybe a 6. If I'm being generous, a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I say a 6.4.
Yeah, and again,
I
it's not.
just story or the feeling.
Yeah, it's not a terrible movie by any means. Like I don't hate
No,
it. I just don't love it, and I don't like it as much. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like
yeah, definitely. Um, I mean, this is a small part of it. I didn't really like the filter at the beginning. It took me a few minutes to get used to. I'm like, what in the world is this? Kind of felt like a joke in that first scene.
yeah, well, what really worked about this movie actually was actually kind of
But
perfect. The soundtrack.
yeah, and the soundtrack was great.
It I like that it actually did sound like music from the
The
first
original,
Shining. Yeah, I mean,
which I mean, they have to kind of copy the original first Shining music in order to make it decently good.
what I also loved about it is it felt kind of modernized too a little bit. Like it definitely sounded like the music from the first Shining, but I could tell they still kind of
Mhm.
brought it into 2019, or when the movie came out in 2019 anyway. Uh, they kind of brought it into more current like sound, I guess, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, I agree. They changed it a bit in that way.
yeah, so I was perfectly okay with the soundtrack. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much else to say about this movie. Again, I guess
We
to
didn't.
re- what's up?
Sorry, we didn't cover as much as we did with the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't want things to go on for too long. It's just I guess just to
Yeah,
reiterate,
especially whenever it's a movie not worthwhile.
yeah, I guess to reiterate my points a little bit before we kind of end it. What I liked about the movie, I like Danny and I like the little girl and their dynamic. I like Ewan McGregor's performance. The last 30 minutes of the movie is it's pure fan service, but it's fun, and I like the soundtrack. And I
I
like
like the one McGregor.
yeah. What doesn't work for me is I don't like the new villain characters. I don't know what it is about them. They just didn't work for me.
The
Uh,
gang from Twilight.
and uh, even though I just said that I had fun with the fan service, it did feel like it went a little too far, just a little bit. Like especially
Yeah.
like I kind of cringed a little bit when they showed the blood going down the hallway again. I was just like, really, really,
hmm There was
because
no point for that.
yeah, like in the first movie, it was there to kind of create a sense of unease and
Yeah.
like terror. You don't know what's going on. Like in the first movie, you just see it and you're like,
Mhm.
"Whoa, there's blood down the hallway. What the heck?" But like in the second movie, it's just kind of there to like show to just be like, "Hey, you remember the first movie?" It just kind of feels like a nod,
Yeah.
nod, wink, wink. It didn't feel right to me.
Um. Well, in a couple of months, expect a Shining review, and we'll be asking each other questions about the confusing stuff in that movie, and I'm sure that'll be a lot better than watching this movie.
Oh, I have a lot to talk about the original Shining for sure.
Yeah.
Cause I watch.
Mhm.
If there is a person about The Shining that I recommend you watch, it is there's a YouTube channel that analyzes that movie to death and a bunch of other movies.
Yeah.
Bob Edgar, I think is how you say it, or something like that. Hold on, let me make sure.
While you're checking that, I would like to comment that the director who made Doctor Sleep is a nobody. When Kubrick made The Shining, he was a somebody.
Rob Edgar. Rob Edgar. I might link to the channel in the description so you guys can look at it. But well, okay, the director of this movie has actually made a few good horror movies in the past. Like let me look up the director real quick.
Uh, I mean, I looked him up and I didn't recognize any of his movies.
Really? Uh, hold on. I'm sorry, guys.
On IMDb, it's the 7.4. I kind of want to check it on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, he made a sequel. From what I understand, he made the best movie for Ouija board. So, because apparently the sequel to Ouija board wasn't that bad actually,
Oh, yeah.
and he made
Rotten
Oculus.
Tomatoes with critics is a 6.23 out of 10.
Really, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, critics have a good view of this movie, so I'm glad I'm on track with them.
Yeah, but yeah, he also made Oculus, which was a well-received movie. So, I mean, he's not a terrible director. He's just not like as well known as others, you know.
Oculus. Wow, that sure has great reviews, Justin.
It had like a 75 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but critic Rotten Tomatoes is 6.4, and then IMDb is a 6.5.
Oh, well, anyway.
I guess he is not Hush.
What's up?
Hush. Got it. Oh, no, then never mind.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for today's video. Uh, Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any final words, Riley, before we stop recording?
Well, definitely won't be watching that movie again.
I don't know if I will either, to be honest. But
The Shining has my heart.
oh yeah, definitely. I might watch it tomorrow. Not gonna lie, or maybe tonight after while I'm waiting for the video to upload or something.
All right.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.